Good evening, everybody. It is the 19th of February, 2026. This is the Hillbilly Think Tank with me, Spencer Keck. I am running for magistrate here in District 3 in Hardin County, and gosh, I would love your vote. I'm coming at you live from Tunnel Hills here in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, where life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is what makes us happy and what we live for. Y'all, there's nothing better than serving mankind. And I've been doing it since, well, at least the age of 18 when I joined the military. And I haven't turned back from service to humanity since. I love serving my community. I believe that's what makes life worthwhile. So tonight, I was out and about. I worked 2 extra hours at school, helping kids out, and then came straight home to make it to a meeting for the city of Elizabethtown in an area that's part of District 3. The meeting was over at the Central Street Baptist Church, and I got to see the plans that are being made to improve this part of Elizabethtown, and really got to see some good stuff. Also, got to hear from the constituents about what they want if I'm elected. So that was a wonderful time. Got to meet constituents, hear what is concerning everybody, and some great ideas that can be done to make Hardin County even greater than it already is. We already love it. So with that, went to meet with some other folks, got home late. That's why this one is airing late. But I came home to find some good news. Good news is that the Kentucky Supreme Court has decided to back up us voters when it comes to not supporting school vouchers. Remember how back in 2024, there was a ballot initiative to make it a constitutional amendment to allow school vouchers and to use taxpayer money to pay for those school vouchers, because school vouchers, I guess, had already been legal since 2017, but there was nothing making it mandatory to use taxpayers' money to pay for school vouchers instead of taxpayer money paying for public schools as it's intended and as our Kentucky Constitution says it's supposed to be. So the good news today, Kentucky Supreme Court rules that charter school law is unconstitutional. On Thursday, Kentucky Supreme Court unanimously struck down Bill 9, nullifying the 2022 law to establish statewide charter schools in a ruling authored by Justice Michelle M. Keller. So Section 184 of the Kentucky Constitution forbids raising or collecting education funds outside common school without a majority public vote, reflecting the 1890 to 1891 Constitutional Convention creation of a lockbox to prevent diversion. So Kentuckians know what is best for our communities and our kids. We know that public schools are not just places for our kids to reach their full potential intellectually, educationally, and for their future, but also there are meeting places. When tornadoes hit the state, where do we go to get shelter? Public schools. When whole communities are devastated by floods and tornadoes, where do people go to sleep on cots safely after their homes are destroyed or harmed? Public schools. I had a family member lost house in 2012 in Morgan County. And so many Morgan Countyans, including my family member, was in their public school, which was built strong, and it withstood the strong winds of the tornado, and everyone was there that lost their homes, including his family members. So public schools mean way more than just a place to make sure that our kids have a level playing field in life. They also are just bastions of community spirit and community life. So it's awesome that our Kentucky Supreme Court followed our Kentucky Constitution. So, and it's that ruling prevents lawmakers from using the current tax structure to fund charter schools and requires placing them under local school boards or Section 184 compliant tax referendum, marking a victory for the Council for Better Education and the Jefferson County Board of Education. Of course, this is going to help all schools in the whole state and all public school users, which the majority of Kentuckians, when it was put to a ballot, we knew the benefit of Kentucky public schools and our funding going to fund public schools, not private schools. The rich have got enough money already. They can pay for it, their private schools on their own. They don't need taxpayers' money. So this just reinforced what the Kentucky Constitution said should be and will be. All right, y'all. So that is, again, some great news. Now, on some sad news, and it's not per se right here in Kentucky news, but I do have a friend that is in the thick of it, pushing back against fascism. And since this is Freedom from Fascism February, where I'm calling out everybody to push back against the chief grifters, those who are grifting off of taxpayers' money for their stocks to rise and for them to become billionaires if they're the company majority shareholders. As I've said before, I am boycotting Jeff Bezos and Amazon and all those products that Jeff Bezos sells and buys, because he's the biggest grifter. So I've gone 19 days now without supporting fascism, because he's the big supporter of this regime. But here is what I am trying to prevent. This is what's happening in Memphis. So we'll take a little break here and see what's going on in Memphis. Very recently, this was sent to me by a friend there who's trying to push back.
Y'all got a judicial warrant? Y'all got a judicial warrant?
I don't think they know where they're going at all.
Or y'all just doing Nazi shit?
Not every door.
What are y'all going door to door?
How many of you are there? Because, yeah, it takes 10 people to do this.
This is where y'all want to be when Jesus returns?
So, yeah, that's a interesting one. You know, I love it when he said, "Is this where you want to be when Jesus returns?" You know, I do remember now it's Lent, and I think one of those scriptures that that guy that Lent's all about was something like, "What you do to the least of these, you do unto me." I don't know. Maybe we just really don't mean it when we read it. Anyway, y'all, let's make this a month we know it's drawn down, and my freedom from fascism fast is officially possibly going to be over on the 28th. We'll see if I keep it up, if I start buying from Amazon Prime again and all those other things, or if I just keep it up because it's working. You know, the stockholders in Amazon are feeling it. It's a great stock, except for now we've been dropping it in value by about 10% or more. Haven't checked lately, but the last I heard, that's what was happening due to people unsubscribing and resisting. That's all we're talking about. So, y'all, we are backing our public schools through our Supreme Court. It's a great day in America. I hope y'all get to check that out. Let me know what you think about it. Walter Dauphin says, smells like tyranny and butt stuff. Yeah, it sure does, Walter. So let's shut down this tyranny. And the way to do it, just go and unplug from these fascists that are pushing us to let the oligarchs make all of our decisions and let the Epstein class rule us. We don't need that. We don't need the Epstein class to treat our daughters like they treated thousands of American daughters. Well, it wasn't just Americans they were abusing, but the majority were. These underage girls that the Epstein class went after. We can put a stop to it. We can put a stop to what I just showed you is happening in Memphis. So, all right, Jonathan, we just showed a 2-minute, 10-second video from Memphis. So Jonathan said, I cut my kid's Xbox Live. Awesome. Yes. And that is also what I've determined. You know, I'm not going to help Bill Gates out anymore. I'm not going to help the richest man in the world. Well, maybe Musk is. I'm not going to help him either. But I'm not going to help Bill Gates, who's previously been one of the richest men in the world, is still one of the richest. Not going to help Gates or Bezos. I'm on a fast from them. I have cut my ties to Microsoft. Used to think something of Bill for all the work he did to help prevent HIV in Africa. But you know what? There will be others. So, y'all, again, great night. Got to hear the constituents at the town hall meeting. And I'm really looking forward to fighting for Hardin Countyans if you'll elect me. So remember, I'm running for Magistrate District 3. Y'all, here in Tunnel Hills, here in Elizabethtown, here in District 3 of Hardin County, we love our neighbor as ourselves. Because we know that in Kentucky, our motto is, united we stand and divided we fall. And if we're not taking care of our neighbors as ourselves, loving them as ourselves, and if we don't say, yes, I am my brother's keeper and I am my sister's keeper, if we don't say that, then we're going to fall because we will be divided. But when we say we'll take care of each other and we have each other's backs and we will fight with each other, for each other, against the Epstein class, they can't divide us and we won't be able to fall. So I'm buying local. I hope you are. Tonight, our buying was at one of the great breweries here in town. If you haven't been out there, and we've only got one in Elizabethtown, and that was a good time spent with friends and figuring out how we can help this community out. So, bless your corazón. Have a great evening.